There are certain things that we can all accept, and that could be the things that we revolve around. Responsiveness, cultural responsive teaching and learning, where if I taught at an all-female school, there are certain things that I will have to adapt from my male perspective in order to respond to my students. If I teach in a predominantly Latino or Latina school, there are certain things, cultural idiosyncrasies, that I have to be in touch with in order to be a highly effective teacher. But there are universal things that connect us all. I'm not sure how we are on time, but we can look at this as an example of a classroom. And in this particular classroom, first of all, there's a process that went to creating this classroom. That process could be taught to others so that Duran and his team are not the only people that are creating this classroom, this learning environment. This is Saturday school right here. This interaction is Saturday school. How do we analyze and bring out what are the principles that created this? In terms of food, Brother Kepra is over there. That's an example of like what our lunch line should look like, or at least one of the options, right? Yes. That we should be able to go down that line. This is lunch, and then maybe people, if that's like too far down the continuum of healthy eating, then we can have something over here that they can select for in terms of diversity. But health is definitely important, right? We gotta have health. Exercise. What kind of exercise are our kids getting in school for their brain? And then the type of symbolism that they're seeing, and the type of technology that we have access to. So we can definitely do it. It's not that it's beyond our scope, and it's even happening in all different parts of the country. Where I'm working right now in Southeast DC, this is a pivotal, critical area. We have a brand new school with all the technology. This school is like a $144 million school. But what is it to have a brand new school if the students have an old mind, if they're connected to the old ways? So we do need the community's involvement. We need everybody's involvement. But sometimes it just starts off with a seed thought. Like all of us start to think and believe in the same thing. Before raw food movement became popular, if you were a vegetarian like in the 70s or 60s, oh my God, if you went into a store to try to get vegetarian food, you know where you had to go? Does anybody know where you had to go? You had to go to the diabetic section. You had to go to the section for foods for diabetics. If you went to the doctor and you had a kid, and you took your child to the doctor and you said, no, I don't want vaccination right now, or I'm breastfeeding, my mate is breastfeeding, or we're vegetarians, they would report you to Child Protective Services, no joke. If you had locks back in the 70s, when I had locks, do you know how many times I got pulled over and had guns pulled on me just because I had locks? So the point is that just these thoughts, they collected, they became one powerful force that created change. Like Whole Foods, there was no such thing as Whole Foods. And then the other side that I just want to say is we do have to acknowledge what we contributed to civilization. Organic farming didn't just start in US. We were doing organic farming eons ago. Drum circles. We never called drumming in the park, in Malcolm X Park, drum circles. That was just, we didn't even have to name it. That's part of Western culture, labeling everything so that they can own it. So just to sum up, the cultural class piece. Oh yeah, one other part of this class. Over there, you see one of the programs that we started called Essence of a Goddess. Essence of a Goddess is a study abroad program where we're taking our young ladies out of the country to explore their culture. We're taking them to Brazil. So go over and find out about, this is more than Saturday school. This is taking school globally. Taking school globally. All of the structures that we need, we can identify and put in place. The strategies, we have to support our own strategies, and we have our own solutions. that's a solution to awakening the goddess in our young girls, because what's happening, especially to our middle school girls, is their minds, their hearts, and their bodies are being taken advantage of and being systematically, let me see how to put it. They're in some of the, I don't know if you know, but some of the things that the middle school girls are getting into will just blow your mind. And we need to create alternatives to give them something that can reawaken who they are.
All right, we're wrapping up our session on valuing Black lives. We got about 7 minutes into our next presentation, but to kind of give a closing remark, and
that whole look at the whole lunch line. Mamusu, Keppel.
Yeah.
Our kids eat like that, and that's brain food and soul food.
That's it. The title of this session is Valuing Black Lives, a conversation with Dr. Ron Bhagat. What I want to just add into the circle is that there is a desire for us to confront the system and demand from the system, change, right? We want policy change. We want laws to change, right? We want people to acknowledge that our lives matter. But I think that there is a missing component to the conversation that we have to have within ourselves. We have to be able to look in the mirror and say to ourselves that we value our lives.
That's right. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that once we make that demand of our own selves and act accordingly, right? Because actions dictate reactions, right? So when you are embodying existence that has value, there are certain things that you become impervious of. And I think in our community, we definitely have to be accountable for the systems that we can put in place.
And we have a system. We have a system called the Emotional Emancipation Circle that we would love for you to check out on, just Google Emotional Emancipation Circle. The premise behind Emotional Emancipation Circles are that we are living under the lie of black inferiority that we've been taught, and the lie of white superiority. And we have created, or we're part of the creation of a movement called Emotional Emancipation Circles that are designed to awaken the consciousness of black people around the world, so that when we get to 1619, we are awakened as a people, and when we get to 2019, we are awakened as a people, so that we go into 2020 with a vision of who we are. Just check out Emotional Emancipation Circles. And if you want to join our Richmond Circle, you can get in touch with Brother Manifest.
One of the things, how can audience members stay connected with you via, the digital formats that we use now, like your Twitter or Facebook or website, any of that?
My Twitter account is at AfroHindu, and you can just you can friend me on Facebook. AfroHindu is my Twitter. And you can just find me, Ram Bhagat, on Facebook.
Okay. Well, we want this conversation to continue, but we're going to move into our next movement. Give it up for Dr. Ram Bhagat, and give it up for yourselves. This is a really pivotal conversation about the work that we can do to increase the value of black lives.
And give it up for Brother Manifest, y'all.
Thank you. Our next presenter will be Yasira Hotep. He'll be giving a presentation on Kemetic Yoga. Give us a few moments and we'll be right back at you. Again, you're now tuned into the 13th Happily Natural Day.
Something right here. See this?
Please.
Yeah, but how do we do it? I think it's actually just